everybody. Welcome to Game S Mornings with me, Jeff Grubb, your host from giantbomb.com. Thank you for tuning in. In this episode, we're going to be talking about a big game getting a second chance with updates and new platforms. And how bad are things going to get at Naughty Dog in the next year or two? It's going to be a good one because we have Jason Fanelli on the show. Jason, how are you doing?
I am fantastic. I can smell the holiday break. It's
right
is
there.
So freaking close. And I am glad to be here with you on what I understand is to be the last Game Mess mornings of 2025. Because, Grubb, I happened to remember this morning and I took a screenshot. I'll put it in our chat. You and I started the year, if you recall, back in the alternate lifetime that was January of this year.
Wow.
Yes, January 6th was a Monday, and you and
almost nothing's happened since then.
Not a damn thing. It's been a slow year. Nothing happened with y'all. Everything went according to plan. But yeah, we were the first GMM of the year. You reached out, invited me, and now here we are on the very last one, bookending the year with a taste of Fanelli, which is a horrible thing to say.
We should make it a tradition, the taste of Fanelli tradition, everybody, that we're all looking for. Fantastic. I'm glad we could make it happen. That is right, though. Last show of the year, everybody, for Game Mess Mornings. We're going to be taking the next 2 weeks off. It's Christmas next week, New Year's the week after that. Big part of that is the industry kind of takes those weeks off. There won't be that much news. And if there is, well, we'll talk about it when we come back. We'll hit the new year running, and I'm looking forward to it. Love doing this show. Love everybody who's stuck with us and kind of made it really work this year. And yeah, thank you all so much. And thank you, Jason, for starting it and ending it with us. Any plans for the holidays? Any games you're going to catch up on? Any travel? What do you got going on?
Mostly staying around this area. A lot of our Christmas stuff happens here in Delaware County. We host Christmas breakfast. We go to Christmas Eve at my parents'. Christmas dinner's in a different spot every year. I think it's in-laws this year who are right down the road. Not going anywhere majestic, anywhere far, nothing like that. But as far as games go, I usually take the week to try and catch up on things, finish things from the year before. I have a couple of short games I want to get to that I haven't played yet. I don't know how to pronounce this, and I'm so sorry. Is it Despelote? Is that how you say it?
Despelote, yeah. That's how I say it. Yeah.
That's one that I have not played yet. I want to probably do that in one sitting. I understand you can do that in 1 2 to 3 hour sitting. That's one I do need to finish the Game of the Year, Claire Obscure at the TGAs, because I probably should, right? 9 out of 12 awards. It seems pretty good.
Even I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's one I want to finish, and a couple of other odds and ends. Maybe start Metroid. I do want to play that too.
Oh, it's something worth playing. It's got great mechanics, gameplay, really fun to play.
Yeah, but mostly it'll be hanging out with the family, just relaxing, recharging, and then hitting the ground running in 2026. Already have some things, believe it or not, in the pipeline for the beginning of the year that came from the Game Awards, both online and in print. Wink. So we're excited. We're excited here in House Fanelli. It's a good time.
I love it. Yeah, it seems like things were happening at the Game Awards this year. Really regret not being there. Yeah,
I've never been. First time.
Yeah. Oh, okay, good.
First time, and like if I were to say to you, I was up at 5:30 in the morning and didn't go to bed till 2, you would think I was dead. But I was energized the entire time.
Good.
It was nuts. I saw a bunch of cool people. I did the GameSpot announcement recap from a watch party. Like in the room, like there's a bunch of suits to my left, a bunch of people like PR to my right, and then myself and a couple others are just hammering away at these things. I'm the only one reacting to things too. Like when Jenny Kidd takes the stage for that Game of the Year medley at the end, I have championed that woman since that game came out. When she came out on stage, I lost it, and I was getting looks, and I don't give a shit. That song is awesome. She is awesome. That game is awesome. Yeah, it was wild, and I need to go every year now, I think.
Good. Yeah, I think I definitely kind of think I'm like, nah, we were busy. We had some stuff going on. We kind of couldn't piece together any like big event at the end of the year, kind of use that as an excuse not to go. And it was nice to relax. I'm glad Jan got to go and rep us a little bit. But definitely had not just FOMO, but being like, oh, we could have made more happen had we been there, and people were expecting to see us. So I think I'll see you there next year. We'll see. Well, maybe
Hell
not.
yeah.
I'm not going to go to the show itself, but I'll see you in LA at the very
I
least.
didn't go to the show either. I don't. It
Oh.
turns out for guys like us, we don't need to.
No, definitely don't need to, don't want to, won't do it. All right, let's see. Was a couple other things. Oh yeah, thanks everybody for all the well wishes. It was a very simple cavity filling, but I was in a little bit of rough shape yesterday because it was like one of those ones where he's like, I'm gonna have to use like body force, body weight to like get in there and get something with this tooth, and like that's always a bad sign when like the dentist is like leaning in there, and it's like, you know, they did a good job. I didn't feel any pain in the moment, but yesterday was like, oh, I can feel like where something did happen, and now the Novocaine's worn off. Feeling a lot better today. It's like a little bit sore still, and if I chew on it a little bit too much, that sore spot comes back, but it's like clearly it's so much better than it was. So feeling pretty good about that. And then of course it's Christmas time. And that means one of the kids, I think, is going to get sick and be sick for Christmas. And it's like,
funny that you say that,
right,
Jeff.
Right?
Because
what the hell?
I don't know. You may, while we're talking, you may hear voices coming from my microphone. My younger stayed home from school today. She's up in her bedroom, but I have the little monitor here so I can hear her if she needs me. But no, it's not a big deal. She had a fever last night, woke up this morning a little bit better. We don't think it's anything particularly serious. It might get a little bit worse, but then she'll be fine. But she had like her first grade was doing a performance today. Yeah. One of her friends won a free like special lunch and chose Charlotte to be her friend that accompanied her, and now she can't do that. So she was kind of bumming about those things. But fingers crossed, everybody will be being rare in shape for the holiday itself, which is most important.
Yeah, it's last year Emmy was sick for Christmas and opened presents, and then we're like, do you want to just keep going? She's like, no, I'm gonna go sleep for a little bit, like in the middle of opening presents. We're like, oh, it's the saddest thing in the world. And I'm like hoping that doesn't happen again. She went to school because she didn't want to miss anything because it's their big Christmas party stuff, and I'm just like, okay, I hope she's all right. But
we'll throw kid.
Yep, got a bad feeling about it, so we'll see. I hope she's okay when she gets home. Last thing, did you see this, Mr. Game Show over here? Did you see this Jeopardy clue that was going around Blue Sky yesterday?
Fantastic.
Everybody, check out Chris Kohler's a Blue Sky page if you want to see it, but I'll just repeat it basically, or I'll do it. I'll paraphrase it. Basically, what the clue was. A spider lives on a farm and talks to their non-Japanese friend about how much they love Japanese stuff. And the question is, what is Charlotte's
Weeb?
Incredible stuff.
Fantastic.
I was unfamiliar with your game, Jeopardy. That is incredible. All right, let's explain ourselves. We're Giant Bomb. Go to giantbomb.com/join, become a premium member, because we are independent games media out here on our own. No corporations are at our back, just you and the forces that you guys bring to bear to ensure that we can continue doing cool stuff like our Game of the Year discussions. We had many hours of talking about our favorite games of the year. You could start looking forward to those popping off next week and the week after that to kind of end up the year. We were also able to gather up a bunch of our friends who have written Games of the Year lists for us. That'll start going up on the site next week and the week after that. Thanks to Marino and Lexi for helping with that. It makes a huge difference and actually makes it possible for us to do that stuff. But again, we can like dedicate some time to these sorts of things and, you know, pay Marino and pay Lexi a little bit of, you know, skrill on the side because you guys all support us and want to say, hey, we want a home base on the internet. We want to be your home base. Go to giantbomb.com and then go to giantbomb.com/join and become a premium member. Thank you to everyone who has. As far as this show goes, most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS feed on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with Bethesda's newest IP is still reportedly on course for Switch 2. This is from Liam Doolin at Nintendo Life. Following a rumor in August about Bethesda's newest original IP, Starfield, landing on the Switch 2 in 2026, a news story now is making the same claim. This information comes from Windows Central executive editor Jez Corden, shouts out to Jez, who says the action role-playing space game will not only be arriving on PlayStation 5 in 2026, but also Nintendo's new hybrid system. Starfield will not only be getting its PlayStation 5 version in 2026, but also a Nintendo Switch 2 version on top. He said he added, or he mentioned also that hopefully this will be a good experience on the portable unit, as the title has now undergone severe optimizations for low-power devices like handhelds. Yeah, I mean, it does feel like about time for Starfield to make this happen. Starfield, of course, is the one that is so interesting, Jason, because leading up to its release, it was a very different like Xbox in that they were still like intending to have games like Starfield be forever exclusives, be system sellers, be a game that can, we're going to give up some money by not being on these other systems because we're going to sell Xboxes and sort of bolster our ecosystem. And Starfield was the game that that had to happen. And when it didn't, ever since then, we've seen this different Microsoft, everything is an Xbox. That's when the change happened, because the idea was if Starfield can't move the needle on this stuff, what can? And, obviously it's like, well, if Starfield had been a better game or whatever, things could have been different, but it wasn't. They struggled to do it. It needed to be that. It wasn't. Now here we are. So we're on the other side of that. They are going to bring this thing to other platforms. And of course, PlayStation 5, obvious, but why not also bring it to the Switch 2 if you can? They've had success on the Switch with a lot of their games, Bethesda, so I'm expecting to see that. How about you?
I am also expecting to see it too. I think we saw it also last week. South of Midnight got the same treatment, which is good. But I don't think that Switch 2 will ever be left out again. I think I know Indiana Jones is on its way, but I think that Xbox now is viewing the two of them, PlayStation 5 and Switch 2, as like a joint package, right? Especially with something like the ROG, the handheld. They have a little more familiarity with putting their games on handheld now, and they can adapt that. Not that the Switch 2 is as powerful as the Xbox ROG is. No, of course not. But I think this is just par for the course. I think this is just them trying to make everything an Xbox. This is an Xbox campaign. Put as many of their games on as many platforms as possible. Honestly, no one should be surprised by this anymore. Once Halo hit PlayStation, all bets were off. Well, I mean, once Forza, I guess, hits PlayStation, all bets were off. Halo was just the next step in that. The more universally paid attention to step, I guess you would say, would be the Halo one. I think the bigger problem with Starfield, forgive me, is making it so that the game is more interesting. It's a lot. You can port it to whatever you want, but until the expansions of and I had a lot of fun with the first one, the base game. Don't get me wrong, but it just doesn't have the staying power as a Bethesda RPG should. And I think that, to me, is what should be a bigger focus. Like, are there more expansions coming, or are they just going to port this to another ecosystem of players who may be slightly disappointed by it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
go ahead. Yeah.
No, that's it. I mean, as long as this new DLC might be coming, if it's a brand new expansion, the upgrades to space travel, as it says here in this article. Also, too, they may want to avoid the performance issues that Skyrim had. I know they said that it's been optimized for low-power devices like handhelds, but they probably thought the same thing about Skyrim Switch 2 port, and that didn't go so well.
Yeah, that's such a weird thing, because that game does run pretty okay on Switch 1, and then they did something and caused problems on Switch 2. I don't know what the latest is on that. I hope they've updated and fixed that. But yeah, for Starfield, I mean, you're right. The problem was always very foundational. Like, they chose early on to build this game that, like, in such a way, they're like, hey, let's make it a 10-year game. And I was always worried about that. I think I probably said on this show and other shows, as they were going into that game, it's like, well, make the base game fun the way you did with Skyrim, and the 10-year plan will take care of itself. Like, that's how it worked with Skyrim. You just made a really good game, and then people wanted to keep playing it forever. And it's instead, this time around, sounds like they just kind of got in their head about making a game that people would play for 10 years. And the moment to moment, that base game had a lot of gaping holes in terms of its quality of experience. Now, to that point, secret presentation sparks excitement for Starfield's future. This is from Jonas Mackey at Game Reactor. We already know that Bethesda is working on new content for Starfield, but we haven't received any further information about it. The studio also hinted on several occasions that they have more things in the pipeline for the space RPG. And there are rumors that it will be released for PlayStation 5 and Switch 2. Now, several sources are reporting that something is in the works, and Starfield News, that's capital N, claims that a secret presentation has recently impressed attendees. This is a quote. A behind closed doors showing of upcoming Starfield content took place recently, making those who attended very excited for the future of the game. Windows Central editor Jez Corden, shouts out to Jez, says he has heard similar information, and it seems that a fairly significant update to Starfield is in the works. Apparently, it won't quite be on par with the treatment like Cyberpunk 2077 received. Remember when that happened? It kind of like really changed the story on Cyberpunk. But the comparison still shows that we may have something really exciting to look forward to next year. Some of those changes, I think you alluded to it. The space travel, they are going to make it more seamless. Okay. So instead of the loading between going to different spots in space, apparently it's going to be much more like you just freeform fly from where you're at to your goal, and there is stuff in between without loading sequences, or at least most loading sequences. I don't know. And it's like, okay, that is better in my opinion. That is an improvement. It will make it feel more immersive. It's not the problem with the game though. The problem is just landing on a planet, and not that there's nothing interesting. It's like if there is something interesting, there is usually a 5-minute walk where it is not interesting first, right, and nothing really to do in that 5-minute walk other than fight some enemies. It was just, I didn't quite get that design at all. And then there was a bunch of other stuff like the customization and the spaceship not really feeling like a home. I'm sure they're trying to improve all of that. Does this sound like enough for Starfield? Do you feel like this could be one of those games that has a No Man's Sky sort of like trajectory of, hey, in a couple of years, we're going to be looking back and be like, wow, look how far this game has come? Or is this too little, too late?
I hope so. I thought No Man's Sky was too little, too late. I thought Cyberpunk was too little, too late. Both of them made the turn. So I hope for Starfield that this does happen. But there are two things in this story that make me give me pause.
Please.
The first one is Starfield News. Not exactly the most unbiased of outlets. No offense to them. They cover Starfield. No. It's what they do.
I think you're right, though.
But for them to say that the secret presentation recently impressed attendees, I did know of the secret presentation. I saw some people talking about how they were there. And I did see some people talking about how, hey, this is some cool stuff. You should give it a chance. Fine for both of those things. But forgive me for the grain of salt I will have that people who were specifically brought to Xbox to see this, you know what I'm saying? They may have put
even if they're skeptical, right? Like even if they're skeptical, once you go in there and you start seeing it and they're presenting it in the best light possible and everyone else is excited around you, it's very easy to get caught up in that like microclimate of hype and being like, I don't know, everybody, this feels pretty different. And it's like, yeah, of course it feels different there. It's going to need, you got to let the tannins mellow. You got to open the wine bottle and let it settle and stand back and then come back to it and see what's really going on here. And no one at that event would have had the time to let something like that process.
Right. I get caught up in that micro hype all the time. It's something that I like to do.
Same. But anyway, it's fun. I get it. That's what I'm saying. Like this is not being like, this is something wrong with them. It's something that happens to all of us. So I understand how something like this could happen if it's still going to end up being disappointing. Who knows? Maybe they're right. Maybe this is the fixed moment for Starfield. I don't really believe that either. I think what is probably the most likely scenario here, Jason, is this is a noticeable market improvement that could be the start of bigger improvements to come if they like see an uptick in sales, if there's a positive sort of sentiment shift and they're like, let's really throw down, let's do the Cyberpunk thing here for real. But I bet it falls somewhere short of that. And instead they end up making a game that is okay in a lot of ways, much better, but still not great.
Yeah, and the second thing is it won't be quite on par with the treatment Cyberpunk 2077 received. Now, Cyberpunk needed it. Right?
Yes,
it was fundamentally broken when it first launched on most platforms. I would not say that my experience with Starfield was fundamentally broken. I would not say that the game was as far gone as Cyberpunk's initial launch was. However, does that also mean that they think that they don't have to make as many improvements? Like fundamental improvements to the gameplay? I think Cyberpunk's issues were technical. I think Starfield's issues are content. Does that make sense?
Yep, I agree.
And I don't know that this update is going to touch those things as much as I want them to.
Mm-hmm.
It also helped that Cyberpunk put these technical fixes in with a massive content update and Idris Elba, who everyone just likes to look at. So
Exactly.
those things kind of helped. Are they going to bring out Idris Elba here? Or are they going to let people know that we back up with the man himself? Let's see. But I'm rooting for them.
Same.
A game of this scope and a game that was this hype to come out and kind of fall flat the way it did, if they can turn this around and get the 10-year game that they want, I will be very happy for them. But for now, I sit skeptical.
Yeah, I mean, and the reality is, like, they are a little bit between. There's some tension on like which direction they should go, because they probably, the safe bet is to put all resources into Elder Scrolls 6 and kind of wash your hands of Starfield. But if you could still release Elder Scrolls 6 in a reasonable timeline and get Starfield to a point where it's like becomes a perennial seller, maybe not on the scale of Skyrim, but still like one that like a minor Fallout level of success in a long-term on a long-term scope, that would be great to have. But and they have an opportunity with the game launching on Switch 2 and PlayStation 5. You're getting a bunch of new players. They will be looking at it with fresh eyes. You can tell those people your version is getting these updates. It's a better game out of the gate. And then we have more expansions to come and things to improve the game even further. There's an opportunity there. But again, I just don't know if that opportunity cost, the opportunity cost it will take away from them betting on the bigger potential opportunity of Elder Scrolls 6. We'll see. Okay, next story here. Naughty Dog has mandated heavy overtime for 7 weeks. This is from Jonas Mackey at Game Reactor. The last time Naughty Dog released a new game series was just over 12 years ago when they launched The Last of Us in 2013. But right now they are hard at work on Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet Intergalactic, which was announced at the Game Awards 2024. While the studio's previous games were immediately regarded as highly anticipated, Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet received a less enthusiastic reception, but the trailer was flooded with dislikes on YouTube. Can't remember why. Probably weirdos. I don't know. The game looks pretty good to me.
A little bit of weirdos, a little bit of actual like targeted products. I think there was some product placement.
Right, yeah, people. Yeah, I don't know. I thought they did a pretty good job of like nailing that tone. We haven't heard anything more since then, but now Bloomberg journalist Jason Schreier reports that things are starting to heat up at Naughty Dog. According to him, they are currently finalizing an internal demo to be shown to Sony Interactive Entertainment, but apparently they are behind schedule in production, and as a result, mandatory overtime of at least 8 extra hours per week has been enforced for the past 7 weeks. This has obviously not gone down well with staff who want to spend time with their loved ones over Thanksgiving and Christmas preparations. And this has led to some staff wondering if they're crunching now, what will next year be like? The game is not expected for 2026, but sometime in 2027, maybe. We'll see how that actually goes down. But either way here, I think that's the story. Also, I think it's a little bit of a insight into how things go down and why, like, it's hard for Sony these days to put together a PlayStation showcase as opposed to a state of play, because it takes 7 weeks of overtime in the middle of your development cycle just to make the demo for internal review at Naughty Dog for Sony. Like, that is a huge amount of time, a huge amount of resources that will derail the production of the actual video game while they're doing this demo. Like, obviously that some of that work will pay forward for sure, but not all of it. It is a distraction in a lot of ways. And they need this. They need to like explain this to Sony, but they're not working on the game proper when they're doing this in a lot of ways. And it's why like getting assets, getting trailers, external trailers that are rendered, pre-rendered CGI ones, those are still like huge drains on resources because the developers have to be involved in that. So something like this is going to be even more of a problem. And so when they have to do stuff like this and get the game out in like a year or so, year plus, you could see them like looking forward at this calendar, Jason, and going, if we are crunching now. And yeah, it's 8 hours of overtime a week, not some unheard of thing. Doesn't sound like the crunch of the ye olden days, but still, It's like, I think this is a precursor to what is to come, and I don't blame them for viewing it that way. How about you?
Not at all. this story from Game Reactor left out, probably not on purpose. Have you heard about the coin?
Yes, I've
Have
heard
you
about
heard
the
about
coin.
this fucking coin? Let's talk about the coin, shall we?
It's a very weird thing. This is
it's
so
a very
stupid.
weird thing. So the development team, this was in the Kotaku piece, I think, the same story. The team was given coins to commemorate the game's ongoing development, which is weird on its own right. Here's a gift for doing the work you are doing more work that you've been doing. It's very strange, but the coin has a quote from the game on it, and I'm going to read that quote to you now. Are you ready? Get ready. It's very
I'm not
uplifting.
ready, but you should do it anyhow.
You're going to be uplifted.
Oh no.
The suffering of generations must be endured to achieve our divine end. It's a quote from the game, folks.
It's a quote from the game. They put it on the
coin
coin
from the game,
and then they handed out the coin to these people that are.
It sounds like they took "for those who come after" and turned it into an AI translator and back and forth 10 times.
And like it's the Torment Nexus thing, this terrible thing from our game is something we're gonna like make reality and be prideful about. It's so bizarre to see. You kind of can't make a lot of this that we make this sort of thing up. It's very frustrating to see.
What is the point of the coin? Is it like, what is it like? Is it like a two-faced thing? Heads or tails? Heads, you still have a job. Tails, you crunch until you die. Like
death or death by crunch. Yeah.
Somebody mentioned in the chat that when Neil Druckmann took the stage at the Game Awards last week, his reception was less than rosy.
As a reminder, I got in early on that, everybody, when he was rude to my friend Mike Minotti at E3. I immediately clocked this fucker as I know what you are. And it is someone who doesn't like
Mike Minotti.
Right? Exactly. Right?
Of all people.
Right. Exactly. Like that's honestly, I'm not joking. I could tell right away when like you're rude to someone like Mike Minotti who goes in with a lot of respect and is not like one of these slobbering fanboys, just said something really respectful. And the way that he was dismissive of him has always bothered me. And I feel like I could be like, oh, that's unfair. You're judging him in one moment, maybe had a bad day. I don't think so. I think that's kind of who he is. And so whenever I like see him making decisions or the way he's perceived or him talking about Israel or whatever, I'm like, yeah, that sounds like the guy that I thought I saw in that moment. It is. He's not going to be doing himself any favors with these kinds of news stories. I also don't know how much he cares right now because it's my opinion based on a little bit of what I've talked to some people that worked at Sony, and when he kind of went back from Hollywood to games, it is my opinion that he is doing so with kind of his tail between his legs. Like, I can't believe I have to go back and make games for these people again.
I could see that. Or even
he's miserable, so he's going to make everyone else miserable. Again, this is definitely me, like projection mapping emotions onto this man and trying to figure out what's going on here. But that's just how I feel when I see this happen.
Yeah, or even in a similar vein, he could come back thinking that he's hot shit because he spent so much time on
either way,
critically acclaimed HBO. Either way, he's coming back with a, for lack of a better term, chip on his shoulder. But when I first read that quote on that coin, I had three thoughts. One, holy shit, these poor developers. Two, what the fuck is this coin? Why are you giving this to them? What is the point of this?
What is the point of it?
Like, is it just, hey, a pat on the head? How about you give them some real coins in their bank accounts? You fucked. And then number three, the first quote, after I thought of the Claire Obscure thing, the next quote I thought was Westworld, which you do not, these violent delights have violent ends. And that is not a quote you want to be associated with. What the fuck is going on with this thing? I'm sorry. Very
weird. And like, let's, we can put it back in context. 8 hours of overtime to get a project done for 2 months, and that's 8 hours of overtime per week. That is not some unheard of thing. There's going to be a lot of people listening to this, Jason, who will hear that and be like, yeah, I'm doing that right now because we're at the end of our year and we're trying to get stuff done before we go on Christmas break as well. Like that, this is totally normal stuff. I think that's right, but I also think it's worth pointing out the video gaming's history of this stuff escalating very quickly, and we're not that far removed from that time frame, and Naughty Dog has been notorious for having pretty rough crunch in the past. I think these people are just saying, we're doing this for a demo. We expect it to actually spiral out of hand next year.
Be awful. And as somebody points out in chat, we may have to check check a couple other supplemental pieces after the fact. Apparently, 8 hours of overtime was the minimum.
Okay,
And it was
yeah.
actually 8 to 20 hours of overtime.
That's how it always goes, right? Where it's
Right.
always like everyone's got to do 8 hours of overtime, but when the person's saying that is like, if I'm here and I come to look for you and you left after just 8 hours of overtime, like it becomes understood pretty quickly. You're here if I'm here.
Exactly. And that to me is already setting the table for a terrible, terrible foundation for this game. And I feel like we have the same goddamn conversations every year. It's people being taken advantage of in service of a bloated system and scope creep, a little bit of scope creep probably too, when all it needs is better management at the top to make sure these people don't kill themselves. I would much rather play Intergalactic in 2028 and have healthy and happy people working at Naughty Dog than play it in 2027 and hear horror stories of people being mistreated by crunching into oblivion. Fucking just
yeah, we're already talking 7 weeks. That's like
it's the end of the year, Jeff. It's Christmas season,
right? That's already kind of pretty. That's quite a lot, actually. Like all things considered, I think people when they think of a sprint to get a project done, you are thinking like, all right, the next 2 weeks, let's really go crazy. Maybe the next 3 weeks, maybe the next month. Like let's look at each other. Let's get serious. We all want to make sure this is done well, and then really enjoy our holiday. Let's get it done. Almost 2 months straight of that, of 8 hours of overtime, and if you just do 8 hours, you're still going to look bad. Yeah, very quickly that spirals out of hand.
And how quickly do you think we hear about from Schreier or somebody else people working on Christmas Day? That's going to happen. I mean,
yeah, I mean, right. We'll hear something along those lines. I bet that like it's like they are working even more than you think.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see. Intergalactic, I still think that game looks pretty good. I do think that they are doing some stuff that I'm interested in. I hope that the people who are working on it can keep some of their dignity when it comes to their professional lives as they deliver this game for us in 2027, probably 2028. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, plenty more headlines to get into. We'll continue with the story du jour of what's going on over at Larian. Plenty more. If you want to skip out on these ads, we do put out ad-free versions of the video and audio shows. You can get those on Giant Bomb. Go to that giantbomb.com/join link. Become a premium member. You can get them there. We will be right back.
All right, dog. It's time to start the show. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, dude, I'm ready.
No, Grubb. You look like you are in a den of inequity right now.
I don't know what that means, and I don't know what you want. It's not like I have a home studio, Jan.
Yes, you do. The computers that Main Gear built for us have NVIDIA GeForce RTX GPUs in them, and with the NVIDIA Studio drivers and NVIDIA Broadcast, you can turn even your man cave into a professional studio. Using Broadcast, you can upgrade your webcams, microphones, and speakers using the power of machine learning to take our shows, voice chats, and video conferences to the next level. You can use audio effects like noise removal.
Oh, yeah, I guess I have the fan on. Well, it's hot. I'm not going to turn that off. Let me just hit this right here. Is that any better, Jan?
Much better. We can clean up your shot with auto frame and video noise removal. And Grubb, you can even make it look like you were paying attention using the eye contact tool.
So I could still watch my stories?
Yes, you can. NVIDIA Broadcast is a universal plugin that works with most live streaming, voice chat, and video conferencing apps. It's supported on any NVIDIA GeForce RTX GPU. And since I'm using the NVIDIA Studio drivers, I'll get stable optimized performance in Adobe Photoshop, DaVinci Resolve, and all the other apps that I need to use to fix our mistakes in post.
You know what? Thank you to Main Gear and NVIDIA for supplying our NVIDIA Studio PCs. NVIDIA Broadcast, your AI-powered home studio, and NVIDIA Studio, the software advantage for all creators. Jan, I'm not even looking at the camera at all right now.
Grubb, stop looking at me.
I haven't looked at you forever. Game Mess Mornings, we are back. Jeff Grubb, Jason Fanelli. We're not looking at you, we swear. We're not just staring right in your soul.
Oh, I am. I am.
We should get some of that Christmas ale from Great Lakes, Jason. It's real good stuff. Yeah, where did you have it?
Oh, I've had it many. I think the first time I ever had it was like 2014, 2015.
Okay.
Great Lakes has always been distributed here. Edmund Fitzgerald,
cool.
I really like.
Yes.
The Christmas ale, I really like. Is it Dortmund Gold? Is that them? That might not be them.
Dortmund Gold is them. Yep.
Dortmund Gold is them. That's a good one too. Yeah, they've always been a top tier brewery for me, top 5 in my
the March, the springtime, early spring seasonal beer. Conway's Irish Ale. That's my actual
that's
favorite.
A good one. Do they do Hibernation as well?
I don't know.
Hibernation Old Ale, is that them? That might not be them.
I
remember that,
familiar, but I don't know.
I went to a bar once. They had that on tap. Oh boy, that was a fun day. That was stronger than I thought. But anyway,
Mike says that's not them, and Mike is my Great Lakes expert. So yeah, not them.
Oh, it's not them. Okay, I'll have to see who that is. Though. But Great Lakes does good work. I really enjoy them.
Give us some money, Great Lakes. I wear your stuff on the show all the time. You should advertise on here. I don't know if we fit your business profile, but why the hell not? Larian promises an AMA to clear up AI usage in the new year. This is from Alex Hopley at Game Reactor. You mention AI once and suddenly everyone's calling for your head. Sven Vink, CEO at Baldur's Gate 3 and divinity maker Larian Studios, has found himself in hot water after a Bloomberg interview, which he revealed the team is allegedly pushing hard into AI. That's in quotes. Vink on Twitter specified that the team is using AI at Larian, but it isn't replacing artists. You can read the whole debacle here. But it seems that the controversy is still lingering around the studio like a bad smell. In another post, Vink has again decided to clarify Larian's relationship with AI and the use of new technologies. Larian's DNA is agency. Everything we work towards is to benefit our teams, games, and players, a better workday and a better game. Our success comes from empowering people to work in their own way and bring the best out of their skills and craft so that we can make the best RPGs we can possibly make. In that context, it would be irresponsible for us to not evaluate new technologies. However, our processes are always evolving, and where they are not efficient or fail to align with who we are, we will make changes. He then says that they will hold an AMA in the new year with all their department heads to kind of come and explain how they are and aren't using this stuff. It's going to be messy for all these companies for the next little bit because there was a story yesterday, and chat, help me remember where this is at, of a bunch of concept artists, and that's where the story started. Was Sven saying we were just using AI for reference materials that we would then draw new original concept art based on, and that's where AI was. That's it. It was just like reference stuff. And there was a great story from concept artists who said that's missing the point of concept artists. And I felt very moved by this, and it's like, oh, this is the whole deal here. And it was basically them saying the process of a concept artist who does spend 50% of their time gathering resources and reference materials, the process of them going through old books, the process of them going to the library and finding these things on their own is crucial to them discovering things they would not have otherwise known to look for. This is not just like saying that when you put an idea into an AI with an AI prompt and it spits out kind of exactly what you asked for, and then you kind of draw something based on that. Even if you used AI to just say as a search tool to say, give me a list of reference materials that I should begin to look at to help me get an idea here. Even that might take away some of that human magic that has led to some of the best concept art that is really crucial to the process. And to a person, every single one of these concept artists said either it is not helpful or detrimental to our jobs. And it's like, oh man, the consensus here is unanimous. The explanation is really the point that we've all been saying. We want human stuff made for humans by humans. And why wouldn't that go all the way down to the very foundations of the concept art and then the work done to create that concept art? So when that is the argument against it, these people in leadership positions that come out and just say we should be experimenting, it's like, I don't know. It doesn't sound like a lot of these people who've made your game so special up to this point want to experiment with it. What is going to be your argument for it? And so far, I think they've failed to come up with anything that feels that compelling.
No, they haven't. And the creative side, the concept artist side, are dragging them through the coals, as they should. I'll tell you the best quote I heard from this whole situation yesterday came from one Austin Walker on Blue Sky. And he said, most of us did not choose to write or draw, of course, or design so that we could put products on the shelf. We chose to do it because it's a set of skills we enjoy exercising that give us fulfillment. It's like asking a pro pitcher to let a machine pitch for them. Fuck off and give me the ball. Austin Walker, you
Put
are
the ball in the hands. Yeah.
You are a poet for our generation. That is perfect. As a perfect analogy. And for me, when it comes to Gen AI usage at all, it all produces the same sort of imagery, right? Like these things aren't, and I think you alluded to this actually on Blue Sky too, about why AAA is not really getting into it. All of the images they produce fit the same aesthetic. So if everyone starts using it, there's no copyrights to claim because they can't say we created it or they created it because they all use the same fucking program. So eventually everything's going to look the same if everybody continues, you know what I'm saying?
Even if they are able to make it look different, it's like the soup that it comes from will be the same thing. So you're right. Yeah, there's going to be some complicated legal issues, and it's not every AAA. It's a handful of very conservative companies, at least from what I've heard. Like this is circumstantial, but like you start to realize it's like, oh, why haven't we heard some of those big Japanese companies kind of talk about this stuff? And in my opinion, it is because those are the companies that very likely listen to their lawyers, and their lawyers are looking at this going like, in 5 years, I don't know how we're going to defend using this, or I don't know how we're going to go after someone who steals our stuff if our stuff came from this. And we want to have every legal option possible. And these companies go, well, lawyers said we can't do it. We're not doing it. And that's just a couple of companies. There's all these other companies are much more gung-ho, and they are like they're doing the thing of, well, the speed limit is 65, sure, but the speed of traffic is 85. So I'm going to go with the speed of traffic. And like there's something to be said for that when you're driving a car. When you are playing fast and loose with your company's future, a lot of these companies feel like they are building up a legal debt that they are going to have to pay one day, and they don't know what the cost is going to be.
That driving analogy is perfect for like those, what are they, I guess, player cards that showed up in Black Ops 7 that were clearly AI generated. That's, I think, the exact sort of mindset that they were in. Everyone else is doing it, and we're putting it here in this little innocuous space. We're not going to do any more bullshit. And with Larian specifically, Sven has cultivated himself to be this like champion, right? Which I think is what's making this so disappointing for people.
Absolutely. That's hurting him here.
As somebody put in the chat, his speech 2 years ago is not aging well, because now the fundamental basis of Divinity is, or I assume Divinity, is now based on this technology that is taking work from actual creatives. How, and I had this thought last night, how funny or ironic or whatever would it be to find out that that statue was created with generative AI?
Right. Yeah. People would
you know what I mean? Like you do this big thing out in the desert, you create all this hype with it, and then we find out you didn't design it yourself. I mean, the patent would suggest otherwise, but like there's no guarantee now. And that, I think, is the problem. There's no guarantee. Baldur's Gate 3 now, people might even question, because that's when things were starting to get their footing. Maybe not in the very beginning of development, but towards the end. In the like bug cleanup phase, now people are always going to question their games as to whether or not it uses this technology. And that question alone, from a guy who was such a champion out there in his suit of armor talking about you can't replace 2 years ago or whatever it was, that's I think what makes this so. And I think he knows it, because he keeps coming out with these statements. They're going to come out with an AMA that they know he fucked up. He is very much tasting foot and mouth. So if this not to interrupt you, but if this creates a wave of transparency where Larian says, okay, maybe we just need to, is it going to happen? No, I doubt it. But if it does,
my opinion is just that it's going to be the situation where it's like you touch the stove is hot, and what you do is you clamp up and you don't touch the stove anymore, instead of like, let me find the safe way to show you all how we touch the stove. Like that's how these things go, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's disappointing, especially from this company that seemed like such a advocate for the people working in it. To be using this stuff, just
Yeah, and it's
add them to the list.
and I think he tried to like thread a needle a little bit there, where in like one of his earlier statements, he talked about machine learning. I still think there's a place for machine learning. Machine learning is the kind of thing that powers DLSS, that's deep learning super sampling. There's a bunch of models they trained, like games should look like this. So let's like kind of bridge the gap using some magic there, some math. And it's like, yeah, that's cool. I also I am like sort of sympathetic to people who are just like, you are having all these conversations about cool ways to use the internet. You want to like have the old internet where you have to go and like know how to do Google searches to find what you're looking for, and that was a skill set, and that's something I enjoy doing. But there are I think the vast majority of people, when they come to the internet to look for something, I have a friend, Dave Tack, who kind of set up Polygon's guides features back in the day, and one of his guiding editorial principles was, don't get cute. The person who paid money for the video game and who's now searching for something on the internet wants to get back to the video game they paid for. They want to get back to their lives. They don't want to get into your system and go and like hear your ideas about this thing. Just give them the answer they're looking for in the guide so they can get back to playing the game they paid for. And I think that's how most people are doing things. They have that they want to lay down like tile in their kitchen, and they go on the internet and they do a Google search and they get overwhelmed because they find conflicting information, and they want a search that is just going to be like, hey, we've done the work for you, and you don't have to go all these websites and go through all these forums, and you don't have to go through Reddit. You don't have to be good at navigating human interaction on the internet. We've just done the work for you. I get that. That's why I do feel a huge part of like the AI mode on Google taking over the search thing feels inevitable. That does not mean that in this moment people should not be yelling to get every inch of like guarded off and sanctioned off places where humans can still be humans, and we can, because if it's inevitable, all right, well that means we're not going to be able to stop it through financial means. The only ways to do that are by creating the political reality where people say, oh, I'm willing to stand up for this because I know every time something like this happens, there's a lot of people yelling, and I can harness that political energy and do something here, and maybe eventually we get regulations and all this other stuff. So all the criticism coming Sven's way, he needs to recognize he's going to be a lightning rod for it, and there's a way to harness that and be like, we have looked at this, and here, and that transparency route that you talked about is probably the best thing they can do. It's difficult. Yeah. What is the return on investment for that? I don't know. Maybe there is one of like having the good looks of being a company that is willing to say, yeah, we were a champion for people making games. We were standing against the way publishers doing it. And now that AI has become this thing that we are trying to navigate, we've done so, and we've expanded. We've listened to all of you, but I don't know if that's a big enough return on investment that they would actually do that. So I'll be cynical and imagine here that in a couple of months, they just clamp up and they never talk about AI publicly again, and then continue doing whatever they're doing with it behind closed doors.
I think you're right.
All right. Next, Playground CEO says it wants to fix the problem Nintendo had with the Wii. This is from Chris Scullion at VGC. CEO of Next has explained how it has taken inspiration from Nintendo Wii, but also wants to improve on some of the business decisions Nintendo made with it. This is the Next Playground, which was that little device that was sold really well through November. It is a motion control sort of Kinect camera box that has a subscription service where you can get a bunch of games. I've had one for a couple years now. I like it.
Yeah,
it's all right. I don't love the business model. Like having to have a subscription, I think, to get all the games is cumbersome for the way I do things. But it seems like it's working. And I do think that, seeing this, it's like, oh yeah, obviously this is appealing to that audience now. And the idea here is just to keep things on this service sort of very curated for that audience specifically, and not force them into a situation where it's like they go to Best Buy and there's 40 minigame collections and you don't know what the good ones are, which was one of the problems with the Wii.
Right.
Do you think this is like a new burgeoning sort of side business to gaming, and one that maybe like even like a Nintendo could re-enter one day?
If it continues to be successful, I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo tries to buy it. and just makes it the Nintendo Next or whatever, the Nextendo, whatever that name would be. I haven't had a chance to try this thing out yet. I understand that Santa might be putting one under the tree this year, so I hopefully my time will be coming soon.
Yep.
But I'm very surprised. I'm not surprised by this, honestly. Let me take it back, and I'm not surprised because of the price tag. I think if that Piscatella report from earlier this week is any indication, people are experiencing sticker shock at historic proportions right now, especially in a industry that is extraneous for most people. It's extra. It adds to their lives. It is not essential. So if they're making cuts, they're not buying the high-priced consoles. They're looking for another way to entertain their kids, and $250 retail Next Playground is the way to do it. I think that has a lot to do with this device's success, but also they seem to have some big IP underneath it. Bluey, Peppa Pig, Ninja Turtles, Sesame Street, Barbie, all listed on this. And I think that if they're smart, they will capitalize on it in a way that, yes, the other companies may try and dabble with it once again. And it turns out, I hate to say this, Kinect might have been onto something.
Oh yeah.
We may now be talking about Kinect as ahead of its time. The problem was they marketed it to the wrong people. Kinect was made for kids. Kinect was made for the younger families, and they tried to push it for the gamers.
For Steel Battalion.
For Steel Battalion and Milo. I seem to be the only one that remembers Milo, but I remember
Milo. One day we should save that kid. He's still just in some Xbox somewhere.
He's still there. So maybe they had something going on. I do think though that the minigame thing is an interesting angle that I hadn't thought of, because I just ignored them, right? Like I didn't play.
Yes.
I was playing the Mario Galaxies and the Mario Karts and things like that. But Carnival Games is an example of one that was decent enough on the Wii that it sold tons and created a whole franchise for a while. If they can do something like that, maybe too, this might be a place for developers to try something. Exactly. And if they figure it out, put it on a VR system or put controller support or put it on a console.
And it's like, there is a little bit more wiggle room to work with stuff here, because you aren't in a situation where, okay, everyone gets a Next Playground, and then they are all looking for a list online that just says, get Wii Sports, get Wii Fit, and get Carnival Games. And then that's all anyone ever buys. It's like it's an ongoing subscription. And again, I personally dislike that business model, because I just want to buy the game I want to have. But in the situation, what happens is people are like, okay, well, I have the subscription, so I have this library of games, and a new one pops up here, so they can kind of keep making new stuff and being like, we're just going to add it, and you're going to get it, and you could try it and see if that's something you and your family want to play. That's what they're saying is going to set them apart.
So wait, not only was Xbox right about Kinect, was Xbox right about Game Pass too?
Yeah, I mean, I think
eating their lunch.
I think it's obviously like a scale thing, right? Where it's like,
sure.
It doesn't work on the Microsoft scale; it's working on the Next Playground scale.
Right, that's fair.
Go ahead real quick, and then I'll.
But if they keep the big names in there, like if K-pop Demon Hunter shows up on Next Playground, you'll never be able to buy one on a shelf again.
Yep,
that's
exactly.
all I'm saying.
Yeah, so it's like, I think them, going to Bluey, going to Turtles, that is the kind of stuff where it's like we can be a home base for some of these things. I think what I maybe expect to happen here is this is a sign to Nintendo that maybe their next, they've done the mini consoles, they've done the Game & Watch stuff, they did the Alarmo. They usually have something that costs between $100 to $150. That is this small device that is ideal for a Christmas present. The next thing they should probably do is the Wii. As much as like they could go the N64 route or whatever, it's like if they made a all-in-one Wii system sort of thing, where it's like you just plug it into the back, it's got the their equivalent of the Dolphin emulator ready to go, and they could just have Wii Sports and a handful of other games sort of built into there. I think that could be something they could sell for $100 to $150, and it would do very, very well. And maybe because this has been successful now for a little bit of time, maybe Nintendo could go even further and build some alternative like marketplace or subscription or make it part of their NSO service, where it's like as part of that you get some extra games added into here on your Wii or Wii Mini. I don't know. What do you think?
Man, well, wouldn't they just put the Wii games on the Switch NSO because it has?
I mean, they could, yeah, they absolutely could, and they probably will. I mean, obviously, if the GameCube games can run, they because
but them having the separate Wii Mini also
they just like right. And I think it's like
okay,
there's a huge price to get into the Switch too.
Sure.
And they could make a small little device that could run Wii and market that as their holiday hot item in a year or two. And they love having something like that. They never stick with any one thing for very long. The Alarmo was a thing for a couple of months before that. Game and Watch things were Labo. The Game and Watch things were like around for about a year. You can still see them, but it's not an ongoing thing with Nintendo.
Oh,
anymore.
I forgot about this. Yeah,
exactly.
It's sitting next to me, and I fucking forgot about it.
Right, and those things tend to do very well for Nintendo.
Yeah, they do. And you know what? And the more that you say that. A Wii Mini does make a lot of sense, but didn't they have to name it something else? Didn't they have a Wii Mini? Wasn't there a mini version of the Wii console?
I don't know if they called it the Wii Mini. I think it's what we called it, but there was the I call it the Canadian Wii. That one that like was I think maybe a little bit smaller, but it was like red and it didn't have Wi-Fi and it was I don't know. There's a bunch of like cut features from it. It was weird.
Yeah, I don't hate that idea because like. You would get that whole audience back again, not just gamers like us, but like the senior citizen homes would probably jump all over that. The daycares would jump all over that. Schools would jump all. Yeah. Oh, wow. That does it. You should work for Nintendo.
Yeah,
I'll let you back in.
Cut the check. They gave us Metroid to review, so who knows? Maybe they'll.
Oh, maybe they did.
Yep, it's all coming together. Last couple of stories here. Sony and Honda have announced the first car to offer PlayStation Remote Play. I don't know. This feels like a story from like 25 years ago. Remember, like we'd get like video games popping up in cars. I don't know who this is for, but I guess the Honda Afeela 1 is a production model. It's coming in 2026. It is going to have screens in the back that can stream PlayStation through PlayStation Remote Play. Okay. I guess. Why not?
So you're just encouraging distracted driving? Is that what's happening?
This is clear. I think they should just give me one of these cars and I could be the poster child
Review the car. Yeah. Yes. Review the car. First of all, Afeela? What kind of an Afeela? That's a weird brand name. that's what I feel. That's God damn it. But no, so what are you gonna do? You're gonna drive it with a DualSense?
I was kind of when I first saw the headline, I was like, "That's pretty fun. I like that."
But it's going to be like the Wii remote wheel, where you put the Wii remote in the wheel, you just stick the DualSense in the wheel, and you're doing both at the same time. You're driving and you're playing.
It only works with the PS3 DualSense controller, actually. And you got to use the motion, the 6-axis controller, actually.
6-axis, there it is.
Yeah.
6-axis. Oh God, I said it like that. But if anyone tries this, I cannot stress enough. If you're going to try and play your PlayStation games while driving your Honda Afeela, do not play Gran Turismo. It's not going to go well for you.
No, yeah. play something else. Play a classic game. Play Ball number 1 instead. Then you'll be perfectly safe. Yeah.
Wow. That was a proctology exam, how far you pulled that out of your race.
Yeah, I went all the way. I went elbow deep. Paul King to direct the Labubu movie. This is from Oscar Antonin Docal at Game Reactor. Paul King, who did Paddington and the Wonka movie. So he's got some stuff under his belt. Those are some good movies.
Paddington.
Yeah, that Wonka movie is really good.
Yeah.
Make it a Labubu movie. I'm sorry, we're very Labubu now in this house. Emmy, that's all she asks. She asks Tencel the elf for when she.
I think we have a lot of requests for Labubus too. I have a feeling that's going to happen as well. I could make any jokes I want about this, but I know my ass is seated in that theater with my children when it comes out. So what can I say?
It's going to be good. I bet it's actually going to be good.
What can I say other than it better be good, Paul King. You better take that Paddington. You better not tarnish that Paddington pedigree that you have made for yourself. I haven't seen Wonka yet. That's why I'm not saying Wonka. But cool. Good for him. You know what? I hope this is the age of stupid IP, like stupid fun IP movies. Street Fighter looks dumb, and that's complimentary. It looks dumb. It's exactly what I don't want a super serious take on Street Fighter. I want the wonky shit, and that trailer gave me the wonky shit. It's exactly what I was hoping for.
You see the Instagram reels of the Street Fighter cast like driving in the limo to the Game Awards, and they're like just so clearly out of their mind, drunk and breaking windows and stuff. Very obnoxious. I can't wait to watch the movie.
Well, I was too. That was one of the moments where I was talking about the stuffed shirts in the viewing party. When Larian Reigns comes out, I stood up and threw the ones up. You throw the ones up for your tribal chief. Guy behind me did it too, and the people like,
okay,
oh,
we are fully effed, huh? All right,
you bombed the 12.
Coming back up.
All right, we good? All right,
back up.
Those are the viewing party suits coming to get me. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, they're like, finally, we found them.
Should be
sending
golden
the
now.
team. All right, so we are back, everybody. A little tech hiccup, but we're good to go. So we are going to go from the news stories now to get ready to do the Bomb 12 here in a moment. That means we've got to clean up a few things. Yesterday, we had a poll question. Are you all digital, generally speaking, for your console games? We had just nearly 5,000 votes, and 54% of people said yes, 46% said no, and this is all digital. So even if people are buying a couple of physical games, they could have said no. How about you, Jason? You digital these days?
I basically am. Yeah, the rare, occasional physical game. Mostly if it comes in like a collector set that I want something cool, or if it like the Pokemon ZA I got physical because it came with a cool mat for my desk, so I use that as like my big mouse pad now. But yeah, I mean, if it's just the convenience. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I want to play this. I forgot it was out. But I have it now. It's that.
Yeah, ever since the 3DS, it was like the 3DS. I still think I prefer the way it does the digital than anything else, where it's just like tied to the system. I mean, it's obviously there's some drawbacks to that, but now that the system is done, just having that device be like, I open it up and it's like the library exists inside this specific device as opposed to being tied to an account. I don't know. There was something kind of neat about that. Okay, let's see here. We did the new poll question. There's no new poll question, especially since we won't be back until after the new year. But we do have the Bomb 12 before we get to that. Jason, why don't you tell people where they can find you on the internet, what you have going on, and all that good stuff.
JasonFanelli.com on Blue Sky, Big Man Fanelli everywhere else. Couple things coming from the game. I think we died again.
We're still recording. OBS is having a problem.
OBS. So that is OBS. But I shadowed one of the Game of the Year nominees. I'm going to bring that up for a pretty cool publication. I also got to speak with one of the three, I should say, celebrities that were involved with IO's announcements. I'm not going to say which one, but that'll come out soon. And then I also got a chance to play Phantom Blade Zero. No embargo on that one. That preview will be going up. You know what? They are trying to straddle this line between Souls games and hack and slash. And honestly, I kind of like where they're going. So cool. I thought it looked good. I said to the guy, S from S Game, it's the name of the developer. I said to him, Souls games don't really sit well with me. I'm not very good at them. And he said, well, that's good because we're not a Souls game. I said, oh, are you more hack and slash? He said, no, we're not that either. Because like there's combos for your weapons, press square and triangle, and you'll do the actual combo. You can't just mash. You have to be a little more deliberate. But once you're activating them, those combos look really flashy, look really cool. I think the biggest indication I had that they're trying to ease people into what might be considered a Souls formula is I got to the final boss of the demo, which had two full life bar phases. You drop the one life bar, it transforms, you go to the second life bar. Took me a couple tries on the first one because it was like one main guy and 7 like wuxia blade dancers, and they were doing all this crazy choreography, and they would feed him health, so I had to kill all 7 of them first before I could kill him. Very cool boss fight. And then it turned into like this monster demon that's being held by ropes and swinging all around this arena and bouncing back and forth. The second phase killed me. I went back to the checkpoint, and when I went back to the boss fight, he was at second phase. I didn't have to do the first phase again. Okay. All right. That sat well with me.
Yeah, that's fine. It's that kind of game. You know what it is kind of based on that.
Yeah, that kind of game. I think it's going to surprise some people. I do. I would like more time with it. I only had about an hour in this demo, but I had a great conversation with S. Soulframe is what he calls himself. so I have to go through that. They sent me the video that I have to go through and transcribe. It's a 15 gig video that I have to parse through. So that'll probably going up on Monday, I assume. And then I played a game that I am embargoed on, and the preview goes live on the first Monday of the year. And I'll leave it at that.
Cool. Good deal. All right. Well, Jason's staying busy. Now that means it's time for everyone to kind of start taking it easy, but don't do so until after today. We are going to work on a couple other things to kind of fill out our calendar for the end of the year, everybody. Post some stuff other than just the game of the year stuff. But we're also going to do UPF. That will be later today. We're going to probably do Peak or something. I don't know. Maybe Repo. I don't know if we've actually fully decided, but we're going to hang out. We'll just do a fun UPF stream and kind of decide in the moment. And then we'll be out for the rest of the year, everybody. So that means one more time, let's do the Bomb 12. That's right. These are the 12 games that really matter to people who are really playing games. Let's go through it. We have at number 12, Warframe. Number 11, The Outer Worlds 2. Number 10, Diablo 4. Number 9, Pokemon Legends ZA. Number 8, Hollow Knight Silksong. Number 7, Skate Story. Number 6, Ghost of Yotei. Number 5 is Arc Raiders. Number 4 is Sectori. Number 3, Claire Obscure Expedition 33, which has been regularly in the top 12, but kind of continues to see a little bit of a pop after the Game Awards and just people kind of checking out before the end of the year. Number 2 is Hades 2, and number 1 still after a couple of weeks, Metroid Prime 4. All right, that's the Bomb 12. I'll put up a new link. I think what I'll do, everybody, is we will update the Bomb 12 for next week during Christmas week, so you can vote about what you're playing for Christmas, but we're not going to have a show, so it'll just be on giantbomb.com. So look out for that. That'll be updated. I'll get a new link on Giant Bomb. That's where the link is now, everybody. So if you want to vote, if you want to submit your game, just go to giantbomb.com, scroll down a little bit. You'll see the current Bomb 12, and over to the left, underneath the logo, there's a button that says vote here, and you can submit your game by clicking on that link. All right, Jason, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and talking about video games, man. I really appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. See you in the new year, my man.
Yes, see you then. Maybe we can kick it off. I'll still see what you're doing.
I'm sure
you're not busy for first day we're back. And then thank you all for watching and listening. You are the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.